Hey, what's going on, TikTok? This is Marcus again. Figured I'd come on here just for a little bit, just to kind of chop it up. I'll wait a few more minutes just for some people to kind of get in. And you're going to have to excuse the background noise. I work in oil and gas rigs during the day. And, on my off time, I write books. I'm going to go ahead and just get started. I'm not going to be on here terribly long. Before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and just reiterate why I'm doing this. I am a writer. I have written 3 books. I'm in the process of trying to publish my 3rd book, my trilogy. It's called Fireline, Alakita of the Golden Dragon. Alakita means creed. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to briefly talk to you about the other 2 books before I get into the main part of this live. The first book is Fireline, Revival of the Draco Senincha. It is about a young black man who is adopted by a white family, but he finds out that he's descended from a group of warriors called Dragon Moors. That book is available on Kindle and also on hard copy. You can get it in Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can even get it at Walmart if you look it up. So all you have to do is just type my name, and there it is. The second book is, Fireline Generational Bursts. That's my baby right there because I like the play on words, and it's basically the continuation of the character that we're going to talk about. His name is Malik, but his alter ego is known as Shadowmoor. So with Shadowmoor, he is going all over the world, so to speak, to look for a legendary sword that was wielded by the Golden Dragon Moor. He was the guy that was there to unite all the people who are oppressed, the last Dragon Moor, or the Golden Dragon Moor in my story. And in some cases in real life was Saladin, the guy who led the Saracens or the Islamic forces in the Last Crusade. So there you go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to briefly talk about the main character and why you should be invested with this character. Malik is a young man, about 26 years old. He has a college degree and he owns his own business. In this universe, it's kind of like a smaller version of Facebook, but it's called pulseofthestreet.org. And so what he wanted to do is he wanted to get something that actually catered to the oppressed people and the people who are not well off, and in this case, black people. So his alter ego is Shadowmoor. And essentially how he learns about his powers is he visits an arbitrary blind man who turns out to be his paternal grandfather. And he had a secret, which is he had passed down through generations this ability to see like dragons. And in this universe, they are able to see bioelectrical impulses and pulses, signals, things of that nature. Everything that we do as people, as human beings, as even, creatures of, organisms, is always transferred by bioelectrical currents. And so he's able to see those and able to decipher what people are doing and how people are. So one of the ways that he learns how to cultivate his powers is he learns through meditation. Now, in this version, and in my version of the story, when you meditate, you got to go through what they call the cycle of fire, which is you surround yourself by flames, and the melanin in his skin is able to absorb the energy from the flames, and because of that, he's able to transport back into his genetic memories, and in doing so, he is able to meditate through finding out his powers through one of his ancestors. And one of the ancestors is a boy named Amir, who is the son of the king, who was part of the legion that actually conquered Spain. So there's a lot of history in my books, and there is a lot of backstories that showcases, but I'm really going to focus on the characterization of Malik. So Malik starts out as somebody who, despite being well accomplished, well driven, and also smart, he is very, very self-conscious. He grew up in a family where his dad was very, very hard on him. As a matter of fact, his dad was just flat out abusive to him. And his dad wanted to push him to the brink, so then that way, hopefully, he could be able to generate his power. Because his adopted dad always knew that he had this power within him, but he wasn't able to utilize it just so that he can be as a weapon to oppress his own people. And his adoptive mom hid behind Christianity to justify all the things that was going on with him, and she had this mindset of, well, maybe if he just followed the word of Jesus and just followed God's ways, then he won't be as abused as much. Even though she had the power to stop it, but she refused to do so. I will probably do a character breakdown on her sometime soon. I will probably do a character breakdown on her sometime soon. Probably not too recently, but that I think that is a very, very interesting dynamic. But I digress. So, because of that, Malik goes away, and he is at this journey to not only find out about his ancestors, but to find out more about himself. And so I wrote that as kind of an allegory, because with black people, a lot of us are actually starting to figure out who we are. Because with black people, a lot of us are actually starting to figure out who we are. We're not just settling for the everybody came from Africa. A lot of us, realized that there were black people here even before Columbus, and even before Jamestown. So I'm not going to get into that history lesson. I'm just going to focus on the characters. So in the first book, as he goes through this journey of learning who he is and these powers, he's also realizing how much they are targeting him and his people. And so he uses these powers just so that he can save the people that are being oppressed. And so throughout this journey, he starts to find out that the power that he needed to be able to stop this white supremacist group known as the Elite Eight always resided within him. Now, I'm not going to give away what he eventually learns, but what I will do is I will say some of the things that kind of led up to that moment. So, in the second book, he is coerced by a young lady to be able to travel all over the world. Now, this guy is still kind of awkward in a way. He hadn't had a whole lot of girlfriends. He isn't really good with the opposite sex, and so with generational bursts, he starts to learn a little bit how to talk to girls, but he's still head over heels over this one girl that coerces him. White people is just bigger than just simply Africa. So that is the reason why I think that simply Africa. So that is the reason why I think that you guys will be heavily invested in Malik, because he's not what you would consider to be this trope of a superhero. He's not somebody that doesn't have any flaws. He's not somebody who's per hero. He's not somebody that doesn't have any flaws. He's not somebody who's perfect. He can be very, very self-conscious. He could be imprudent at times. He can kind of rush into things, and he could be temperamental. I kind of want to cover some other characters first, but I think what makes Malik intriguing when I wrote him is the fact that he was a guy that turned down, opportunities given to him so that way he can, quote unquote, pull himself out of his bootstraps. And I purposely wrote that because there's this narrative that, and I'm just going to be blunt and say this, that black people are lazy and black people just want to hand out and things of that nature. And historically speaking, we have always had to do things at times for free, because we were slaves and we didn't have any choice. And even when we were pushed out of slavery, we still had to start from the ground up to build our communities and build a lot of inventions, which is the reason why we were always sabotaged, and it was just in built a lot of inventions, which is the reason why we were always sabotaged, and it was destroyed because we overachieve. We are people that overachieve. And so I wanted to convey that with this character, created his own wealth. He's not like what you would consider to be a billionaire, but he is still a one percenter. He earns not like what you would consider to be a billionaire, but he is still a one percenter. He earns about, I'd say, about $1 million a year with his online businesses, and he stays humble. And he's not the obnoxious humble to where, you know, he doesn't have any flawed qualities and whatnot, but he is still somebody to where if he walks down the street, you know, he'll still chop it up with like normal people. And there's times even in the first book to where he'll talk to random people while he's buying sneakers. And there's a scene in the first book where he's talking to a young lady about, you know, how she feels about the climate, and this young lady's about to, you know, graduate high school and go off to college and things of that nature. And you know, and he has a, you know, good conversation with her. So that's just one of many things that he learns to do. And to kind of end it, because I'm not going to be on here too much longer, one of the things that I felt that that is great with this character is not only does he save people, but he tries to generate connections with them. Not necessarily long-lasting, you know, like you're forever my best friend type of connections per se, but he still connects to the people, you know, like you're forever my best friend type of connections per se, but he still connects to the people that he saves. Unlike other heroes, sometimes they'll save people and then, you know, they don't see him again. And so with this third book, what it does is that it actually reintroduces the characters that he met in the first book. So that's the reason why I would encourage you that once I get the third book published, which I would like to have it published, I'd say, I don't want to give it a solid timeline, but I would say probably at the end of the summer, because I'm playing manuscripts written. I still need to get it edited, and then there's also some paintings, get it edited, and then there's also some paintings that I want to incorporate into the book because it's going to be a kind of a hybrid graphic novel. It's going to have some graphics here and there, but you know, I definitely want to have that done. But if not, I mean, I'll have plenty of time to be able to get it out. But in the meantime, I would implore you guys, for you guys who are actually joining the live, maybe take some time to actually shout out and say hi to everybody, and thanks for joining the live. I really appreciate it. Please purchase the book, and you know, and take the time to read it. The first book is going to be the first couple of chapters of the first book is going to be a lot of world building, so it's not going to make a whole lot of sense until you get towards like the first 1/3 of it, and then after that you kind of get a feel for who the characters are, what to expect, the meditations, and also the ancestors. So I'm going to conclude it by saying this. My contact information, of course, you guys can get check me out on TikTok. I'm available. You can send me emails. You can send me direct messages. You could, you know, chop it up with me. Keep in mind that I am in a relationship, so if you are ladies, you know, just understand that I'm not going to be fresh with you. Just don't be fresh with me. I just got to put that out there because, you know, my lady watches this sometimes as well, too. So, love you, dear. You can also find me on Instagram. It's simple. It's just Mark, dear. You can also find me on Instagram. It's simple. It's just Marcus Bowden. You know, you should be able to see me, you know, once again with my girlfriend. You'll be able to chop it up, and you'll also be able to see the links. I'll have those posted. And you also can find me on Facebook, once again. Or Mecca, I guess is what they call it. It's Marcus Bowden. So other than that, I appreciate you guys taking the time to chop it up with me. If you got any questions or if you like this, feel free to check this out. And just in case you want to come back and review this video, I'm going to post it on my YouTube channel, and I'm also going to post this on Instagram. So my YouTube channel, I believe, is Marcus Bowden. You should be able to find me. I think it's Marcus Bowden 0130. You'll be able to find it. Just type in my name, and you should be able to find me on YouTube. So, other than that, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just log off. Like, share, subscribe, do whatever, and also feel free to email me if you want me to do some other videos pertaining to the book. So, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks again for taking the time to chop it up with me. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.